I'll be speaking to Loucas Stamellos of the Freedom Flotilla III media team. We've gotten word that last night several boats left a European port for an attempt to breach the blockade and get into Gaza. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Exactly.
So, what's the latest? Can you say the name of the port where they left?
Not exactly, but I don't think that this is of any relevance. It was in
Okay.
the southern part of Greece, and they left sometime in the night, in the beginning of the 26th of June, of the 27th, today, Saturday. Local time, of course. There was already the Swedish boat Marianne, a converted fishing trawler that was already in the open sea, and three other boats with the symbolic names Rachel, Vittorio, and Giuliano II. Named after activists that deceased activists that have been active in the Palestinian issue, in the issue of occupation and the blockade of Gaza, of course.
So
Those
four boats in
four
all.
boats in total, yes. Four boats are now sailing towards Gaza, and Marianne has a head start.
Has a what?
Has a head start.
Head start. I get it.
Yes, it's a little
How
bit
many
further.
people? How many people approximately are on these boats?
No, there are exactly 48 people
48 people.
from 17 countries.
And how big are these boats? This is not like the Mavi Marmara, right? These are small.
Mavi Marmara was an exception in the Freedom Flotilla missions. Those boats are small boats, one fishing boat, Marianne, and three sailing vessels at about 50-55 feet long. That can carry up to a little more than 10 people each.
And are they carrying any cargo, or is it the principle to get the people there?
The principle of the mission is to highlight the problem of the blockade of 1.8 million people in the Gaza Strip, who live in what is often described as the largest open-air prison on earth. They have no way of getting out, or of exporting their goods, or importing what they need, and this situation cannot be resolved by humanitarian mission, and of course boats cannot carry much that would relieve this situation. The point of the mission is that the international community has to act and has to do something in order to allow a chance for life for these 1.8 million people.
Now, could you tell us some things about some of the more prominent people on the board? I recognized a number of names. Is it true that one person is a former president of Tunisia?
Yes, Mr. Marzouki, the first president after the 2011 uprising, which was the kickstart of the so-called Arab Spring, which led to the uprising in Egypt also. And he was the first president after that. He was for many years, for 30 years, human rights activist. And another delegate on board is the Knesset member, Mr. Bazel Gattas, of the Joint List.
He's a member of the Israeli Knesset.
Yes, member of the Israeli Knesset, and with the Joint List. He has been already threatened with disciplinary action against him for participating in this mission. As he says, it is his duty to do this.
Mm-hmm. Anne Wright, is she on board?
Anne Wright is also on board, along with Joe Meadows,
Mm-hmm.
who is a survivor of the SS Liberty incident, which I'm sure you are more familiar with.
Yeah, we in the States, the activists certainly know about the Israeli attack on the Liberty. And Anne Wright, a former soldier, a colonel, also a former diplomat who quit her job in the protest of the Iraq invasion.
And a very an exceptional person, I might add.
Right, absolutely. And a member of Al Jazeera, a journalist.
There is a crew of Al Jazeera Arabic. There are also independent journalists from Germany and other countries, and there is also a crew of Russia Today and other TV stations, also from Tunisia and the Israeli TV stations. It's not easy to collect all my information right now, but it
there's a member from an Israeli station on one of the boats?
Yes, they are covering the mission.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of covering...
As well as Israeli citizens or former Israeli citizens that participate in the mission as activists.
Right. Now, as before we started the interview, you were telling me the latest news from the boats. If you could repeat that.
Yes, we received word from Marianne a few minutes ago that an unidentified aircraft, probably unmanned, a drone, was circling above them, and that they have been followed for some hours now by boats that they haven't made any contact yet, so they don't know their nationality or origin.
Now, what is obviously the Israeli government knew about this mission? It's been going on for some weeks. What is their official position on this mission?
Well, the only official position has been announced about 10 days ago, and what they said is that they will not allow any unauthorized boats, to enter Israeli territorial waters. And we have replied to that with a press release stating clearly that, of course, first the purpose of this mission is to highlight the blockade and not just to make Israel look bad, because no one here is working against Israel itself. As there have been also voices in the Israeli public media calling for a non-military response to this mission also. And secondly, that we don't need or intend to enter Israeli territorial waters, as our purpose is clearly stated to be to sail from international waters into the Palestinian waters as recognized by the Oslo Accords of Gaza.
Now let me go back a step. A naive question. What is the reason for the blockade? Because once it was supposed to be that the Palestinians had an Israeli soldier, they had captured him, but he's long been returned. What do they say are the reasons that this siege continues year after year?
Well, the stated reason from the side of Israelis, of the Israeli government, is that with the blockade, they prevent the launch of so-called Hamas rockets from the Palestinian enclave of the Gaza Strip into Israeli territory. Of course, this has been not true, or it has been a very big failure, since the blockade is going on, the strict blockade is going on for 9 years now, and there has been no ceasing of this so-called Hamas rockets. Of course, if someone is looking at the news with a constant eye for what is developing in the area, we know that Hamas, the so-called Hamas rocket, and I'm not talking about Hamas because this is how Israel calls
Right.
the Palestinian resistance. It only comes after big intermediary spaces, times of when Israel is shooting at people in the Gaza Strip, are shooting on fishermen just a few miles of Gaza coast, and they also have an automatic system of shooting everyone who might approach the wall that separates Gaza from the Israeli territories. And of course, not to mention that from time to time, the Israeli Air Force, the Air Force of the fourth largest military force in the planet, is frequently bombarding Gaza Strip, with the latest operation being of summer of 2014, which left 2,000 dead, most of them civilians, among them 500 children. And of course,
Okay, I have two more questions at this point. So if people want to help, what would be the best way they could help? Should they complain to Israel? Should they write letters? Should they talk to the authorities in their own country? What are you asking people?
we suggest that people contact their own governments and they exert pressure to them so that they can in turn exert pressure on the government of Israel not to act in a military way against this flotilla. There is no need for that. They have done it many times. They have proven to the world that there is no weapons or I don't know what could be considered as a threat to Israel. So they don't really need to do this again. Our purpose is to reach Gaza. Our purpose is not to make Israel look bad.
And final question for those who want more information, what is the website?
The official website of the Freedom Flotilla Coalition is freedomflotilla.org, and the special microsite that is following this mission, the Freedom Flotilla III, is ff3.freedomflotilla.org.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
I've been speaking with Loucas Stamellos, Freedom Flotilla III. Thank you all for watching.